Yes, there are safe distancing robots. Pay la. It's the little things, guys, it's the little things. Transfer money overseas, plastic, fantastic. Singapore is tiny. I don't know why they're called landed houses, and just watch the world go by. Hello everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Hope you're doing well. Why did my voice go funny there? My name is Georgia, I'm British, currently living in Singapore. If you're new here, you can hit the subscribe button if you want to see more from me, and you can find me on Instagram at The Vintage Vision. So today I'm going to be filming an updated video of things no one tells you before moving to Singapore. I have plenty of content about life in Singapore, moving to Singapore, what to expect before you come here. So I will leave those links down below if you haven't seen those videos already. But I know a lot of you are still currently planning to move here or have moved here recently, and so hopefully this video will be really helpful for you guys. I also have written an ebook guide called The S Word. It includes everything you need to know about moving to Singapore, as well as lots of my favourite spots and things to do around the city. So I'll link that down below as well if you want to go check it out. Without further ado, let's get started. I just realised I'm wearing like mesh and long sleeve as well, and I've had to turn the aircon off to film the video because it gets so noisy. So yeah, I'm just hoping I'm not going to have sweat patches after this. Alright, let's talk about renting in Singapore. So Singapore actually swung back into the top 20 list of most expensive cities to live in the world. Not surprising. The truth is, if you're living in Singapore, then rent is probably going to be your biggest expense. So when it comes to deciding where you're going to live, which neighbourhood, that can take some time, and you may want to scope out the different neighbourhoods. I actually go into more detail about all the different neighbourhoods in my ebook, but you could opt for short-term accommodation if you're sharing. You can get leases that range from weekly to monthly, but then if you want to sign a lease for like an apartment, you're usually looking at a 12 to 24 month contract. The good thing is that most accommodation in Singapore is in close proximity to an MRT station or at least a bus stop, so it's very easy to get around. But if I were you, I'd try to scope out accommodation that's within close proximity to an MRT, maybe like a 5-10 minute walk, because walking in the humidity can be pretty hard. So the closer you are to an MRT, the easier it is to get around and get to work, that kind of thing. So when it comes to types of property to rent, you can opt for a HDB, which is the public housing in Singapore, something that locals tend to opt for. It's definitely cheaper. You can actually get bigger spaces as well, but they are without the facilities. If you go for a condominium, you're going to pay higher prices, but you will get access to facilities like swimming pools, gyms, that kind of thing. Singapore does have landed houses, which is the name for houses. I don't know why they're called landed houses, but they're also available in Singapore. If you want to opt for cheaper options, you can go for shared accommodation as well. Shop houses as well. Shop houses are now available to rent as shared accommodation, which is an amazing way. I mean, I did it last year for a few months. Last year, lived in a shop house, incredible experience. I think it's something that you should really maybe try if you're living in Singapore, just to say that you've experienced living in one. Okay, something else you might want to know before you come is that Singapore is tiny. It is a very tiny island. In fact, I've just googled it. London is 2.20 times as big as Singapore, which is insane. And I know that most of us who have been stuck in Singapore for the past 2 years and haven't been able to travel outside yet because of COVID, we are realizing just how small Singapore is. It's a very tiny island. It would take you an hour and a half maybe to get from one side of the island to the other. It's not somewhere you can go road tripping or exploring very much, so just bear that in mind, that one of the great things about living in Singapore is that you can travel. Travel is easily accessible from Singapore to all these different countries. Please just bear in mind at the moment, obviously, that isn't possible with everything that's going on around the world. So if you are planning to move here, just know that it's a very tiny island, although it takes a good few years to explore Singapore, so you have that to look forward to. Another point is that Singapore is constantly changing. If you look at Singapore's growth just in the last 50 years, you can Google it, it's absolutely crazy. It is growing so fast. New buildings are popping up everywhere, new condominiums. It is growing super fast. And one thing to note is that it feels like the majority of Singapore at the moment is under construction. There is construction going on everywhere because it is growing so fast. I've been in Singapore for 6.5 years now, and during my time here, so much has changed. Not to mention they are still working on new MRT lines, which I love. I love that they're working on new MRT lines because there's lots of spots in Singapore that need MRT stations. So they're building new lines, which is amazing. It means that everything is going to be even more accessible In fact, I saw a new MRT that's just popped up. I think it's about to open at Maxwell, and I'm so happy because Maxwell Food Centre is one of my favourite food centres, and it's always a bit of a hassle to get there, but now there's an MRT station that's literally going to be next door to it. It's the little things, guys, it's the little things. So let's talk about banking. I receive questions about banking quite a lot in Singapore, and the truth is banking in Singapore is actually really easy and straightforward. So if you haven't been to Singapore before, everything is basically technology based here. From car parking, which is incredible, to digital payments, and even safe distancing robots. Yes, there are safe distancing robots patrolling the parks, which is crazy. So something that's really convenient here is the payment systems and cashless payments, and that kind of allows for more smart living in Singapore. So if you are moving to Singapore, I really recommend that you bank with DBS. So amongst expats here in Singapore, DBS is the most popular bank to bank with, and DBS is great for a few reasons. The first is digibanking. You don't have to queue up at your local DBS branch to go and open an account with a bunch of paperwork and all that kind of hassle. All you need to do is simply download the DBS Digibank app, and then you just need to register your information with SingPass for instant verification. Very quick and easy to do, and then that way with the app you can just track all of your banking, transfer money overseas, watch your savings grow, that kind of thing. It's all done through the app. Another major thing you really need to take note of if you are banking with DBS is DBS PayLah. If you come here, you'll probably hear about PayLah. PayLah is a must in Singapore, and it's a form of payment that's done through your DBS app. So PayLah is accepted island-wide by many stores and vendors. Paying for movie tickets, going out for dinner, ordering a taxi, everything can be paid for through your PayLah app. So this is done simply by scanning a QR code, really quick and easy. So yeah, you'll notice that everything is technology based here, but it's actually really quick and efficient. One last thing is that DBS actually has DBS Remit as well, and this is perfect for foreigners living overseas because it actually allows you to send money back home or transfer money overseas. I actually do a lot when I'm here in Singapore, and also when I'm going to go home this Christmas, I'm going to be transferring money back home as well so that I have money to spend. So hopefully that banking information was helpful. But yeah, if you guys would like to bank with DBS, I will leave a link in the description down below. Go click it, you can download the DBS app there, and you can start with this bundle that they have that basically comprises all of the features that I mentioned into one app. Okay, a quick heads up, if you're coming to Singapore and you're vegan, it might be a little bit of a struggle for you. Now, that's not to say that there aren't vegan restaurants and cafes in Singapore. There's definitely vegan options available, but it's definitely not as progressive here as it is back in the UK or the US, I assume. Vegan market is slowly growing, but it's not like vegan food is as readily available, or vegan options, so please do just bear that in mind. I actually filmed a video years ago about being vegan for the day in Singapore. I'll link that up here if you want to check it out. There definitely are some places here, but just be prepared that meat is a huge thing in Singapore. Singaporeans are big meat eaters, usually breakfast, lunch and dinner. Yeah, please just bear that in mind. You're probably gonna have a different change of lifestyle, but it's just something to note. On the same kind of topic, plastic. Let's talk about plastic. Singapore is plastic fantastic, and I don't know, it's something that I have been so hyper aware of since I moved here, just because in the UK I grew up with recycling being encouraged. We were always recycled in the UK, especially my family, and so when recycling isn't as popular here and single-use plastic is still a huge thing in Singapore, it can be quite difficult to witness. I mean, plastic bags is a huge one in Singapore. Polystyrene packaging to take away at hawker centres, plastic straws. They are starting to clamp down ever so slightly on plastic in Singapore, but it is still a huge thing. It's still so widely used, single-use plastic. So if I can say anything, I just encourage you guys to get rid of the plastic straws, buy reusable shopping bags so that you can go shopping at the supermarket and use your own bags. Please do try to reduce your single-use plastic as much as you can in Singapore. I recently went to the East Coast. I like to go to the East Coast quite often, to the beach, and there's this particular beach that is just absolutely swarmed with plastic every time I go. I know that it's probably being swept up from Indonesia and from Malaysia, but that doesn't go to say that we're any better in Singapore. So I spent a good 20 minutes, it only took me 20 minutes to be fair, cleaning up this strip of beach and getting rid of all the plastic. But yeah, I urge you guys, if you come here, please just try and be more mindful of your plastic usage. Something that's going to be a huge shock for you when you move to Singapore, if you're coming from the UK, US, I guess anywhere in the world, Singapore is an incredibly safe bubble. And I know I've talked about this a few times. I am going back to the UK in just a few weeks, and I am very wary of the fact that when I go to London, I'm gonna really have to become street savvy again, because in Singapore I don't have the worries that I have in the UK. I can run on my own here at night. I can go running if I wanted to without any worries. I can walk home from the MRT on my own. I don't have any issues with being harassed on the street. I feel so incredibly safe here in Singapore, which is a blessing. I wish every country was like it, but it also means that when I go home, I'm gonna have to be extra street savvy, because I know that that isn't the reality in the UK, unfortunately. So it's this kind of strange feeling when you step outside of Singapore that you're like, oh my God, I'm in the big world and everything's scary and real. And so it definitely makes Singapore feel like this safe little bubble where you're wrapped up in cotton wool or something and you feel looked after, which is amazing. But yeah, just something you might want to bear in mind. Probably one of the biggest culture shocks you'll experience here if you're moving here and if you're going to be working here is Singlish. Now, Singaporeans speak Singlish. Singlish is not a language, but it kind of might as well be. I've done so many videos about Singlish, so I'll link them down below if you want to learn more about it. Singaporeans use Singlish words and abbreviated words, lots of acronyms, which allows them to communicate in a more simplistic way. And yeah, it's something that's probably going to confuse you at first. You're probably going to have no idea what anyone's saying. But 3 vital words that you need to know is can, means yes. Can means yes for everything. Cannot means no. And la, you will hear at the end of everything. Singaporeans will always say one at the end of sentences as well, which can also get very confusing. I have a whole chapter about Singlish in my ebook, and also I've done loads of videos about Singlish before, so you can check those out. Let's do a quick guide to ordering kopi in Singapore. Kopi is the word for coffee, and if you go to a hawker centre and you want to try the local coffee, here are 4 types of coffee that you need to know about. First is just kopi. Kopi, plain kopi, is coffee with condensed milk. Just a heads up that condensed milk is incredibly sugary. So it's going to be the sweetest ever probably coffee that you've ever tried. Nevertheless, it is the most delicious coffee. Kopi O is coffee plus sugar. Kopi Kosong is coffee without milk or sugar. Kopi C, coffee, evaporated milk and sugar. Personally, just go for kopi O, coffee and sugar. But you can also ask for less sugar. If you try the kopi here and you decide that it's way too sugary for you, you can always ask for less sugar. Honestly, one of my favorite things to do in Singapore is sit at a hawker centre and just watch the world go by. Honestly, it's one of my most favourite things to do. I don't know why, I just find hawker centres can be like really relaxing and it's great for people watching. So if you haven't done that before, then you should definitely give it a try. Alright guys, I hope that you found this video somewhat helpful and insightful. Like I said, check out all the links, videos, ebook, everything is linked down below if you want more information. And of course, if you want to check out DBS for banking, you can download their app in the description box as well. I'm going to be heading out to the UK very, very soon, and I'm so excited that so many of you want to see UK vlogs. So subscribe, make sure you're subscribed and follow me along to the UK. I can't believe I'm going. I'm going to be doing lots of videos about like the flying process as well, the VTL flights and all of that, because I think that's quite informative. And yeah, come along and spend winter with me in the UK. It's going to be very cold, but I am excited. And also, if you want to keep up to date on what I'm doing every day, I'm always on my Instagram stories. You can go find me on Instagram at The Vintage Vision. All right, enough rambling. I'm going to go. Thank you guys for watching so much as always, and I will see you in the next one. Bye guys.